0304. Brianna Lattiser at the 15B. Emmanuel Saint Denis in the 65. Junior Delorme in the 45D. Thompson on the one arm, making his way out onto the racetrack. Chris Ferguson in the zero-weight Rockville Speedway regular. Behind him, the Draper Doors number 17, rising. High side house with Tristan Draper. Jessica Power, car number 52. Billy Cook, Rock Express M70, had a tough night at Airborne, had another nasty crash. It was the second one of the weekend. That's always a good thing when you can take the car, put it back on the trailer straight, and go racing again the next night. You know,
pourquoi, mais j'ai tout le gars qui les encourage. Parce que je ne veux pas les encourager parce que sinon, je déteste. Moi, j'aimerais que les STL s'en vendent des minutes. Je vais avoir 15 chars de plus. Je vais avoir 20.
Atlanta Cert Clan is here. Terry and Skylar.
J'arrête des minutes. Ça, c'est de la bullshit.
Terry up there in the 74L. Skylar, or excuse me, Terry in the 74. Skylar in the 74L tonight.
And a good field of minis here on opening night here, the Polar Sound DJ Service Mini Stock Series.
T'avais-tu filmé l'accident
Although roll it onto the field.
Moi, je le fais pas, moi, un café.
Voilà.
Ça va t'aider un autre.
Quand les minutes d'extérieur, on va sur le mur.
Ouais, partout.
DJ Service Mini Stock Series. Series race.
We're going to need Sydney Lannister Mini Stock Memorial Series. And,
location. And Patrick over by the finish line pub. Yeah. Someplace I know we like to be calling the race round. I think it'd be very interesting by the end of the night.
Bonjour. Bonjour, ça va bien? Oui, s'il pleut pas, ça va aller vite.
mini stocks
Motorisé dans l'hiver, là, je
as
sais
far
pas.
as hot laps go, and group number 3 coming on out,
Il a voulu mettre
led
du stock
by
là-dedans, puis il
the
pensait que
reigning
c'était
track
le site.
champion and so far undefeated Mohawk track champions, the 43 original Ford.
Ah, ça doit, oui. Mais alors, il n'y en avait plus. Poignée les a pris.
Another late arrival from mini stocks.
It's going to be a good car count
Tiens,
for us
Mathieu,
come feature time.
t'as pas été garder les places. J'étais
Oh, we got
on va avoir de
some
la
nice
place.
and quiet time. I got a couple of cars that need to be moved, Tim. We've got a great Kia CCBM 335 Ontario plate. A great Kia license plate CCBM 335. You need to move your vehicle immediately, and a black Ford Escape. Personalized plate, Reals. So we know that one's yours. So black Ford Escape, license plate, Real. You need to move that one as soon as possible. And we have a great field assembled for you here again this evening. Good car counts in all classes. And boy, that track surface is pretty quick. It'll be worked in a little bit more, and of course putting the backer back out now to try to get that top group back in for time trials. You never know, somebody might want to run the top. We've seen guys like Ryan Slim McDonald run up there a few times. Seems to be the fast way around right now is right through the middle though, of course. Nice tacky track.
Changes to the speedway this year, guys. You notice the inside is not as highly or steeply banked as it has been in years past. It used to be kind of straight up and down. So, well, Moron and a couple other guys know about that for sure. Got a little easier on equipment too.
Oh, definitely. And well, 400 loads of clay will do that for you. That's, yeah, 400, that's what I was told. And that'll really level out a playing surface in a hurry. And we've always mentioned that Cornwall has 3 lines on any given night that you can run, and of course it's still holding to that right now. Of course, a little wet down at the bottom. That's where all the rain has been accumulating over the last couple of, well, last 2 days we've had some nice weather. Of course, it's a little cooler today, so not helping us dry the track out as much. But that bottom groove, you see them, they'll be putting that back tire up on that inside berm and trying to cut the corner as much as they can when we get to feature time.
I always like putting all 4 tires on an inside berm. That really drove the officials nuts. But no, these...
And we wonder why he's up here with us, my man. I think it's safer for everybody when Timmy's up in the tower.
You got that right. Visibility for the race fans that like to sit down in the lower section of the grandstands. I mean, with all the mini stock drivers and their trailers in the infield, it makes it difficult to see sometimes. So with that backstretch kind of elevated in a way, it's almost like the track in Texas where the World of Outlaws got their start, the Devil's Bowl Speedway. Their backstretch is elevated a little bit as well. So it's good changes for the racetrack drivers. Seem to be acclimated to it pretty well so far.
Well, that extra, as we mentioned, extra banking on the backstretch and going out a little bit, you'll see cars that'll come out at 2 and they won't lift at all going down the backstretch, where before, if they were a little high coming out at 2, they'd have to lift or slip off the backstretch. Well, this year, they're going to be able to keep their foot flat on it. When they go through 1, they get on it there, they won't lift until they get set up to come into 3. When they tap the brake, set the car up, and come in. That's going to really bring up some lap times, and I'm looking forward to it. A couple of weeks in, of course, they're still working the bugs out of the track. The drivers will get used to it. Like I said, once we get a couple of weeks there, we've got the Empire Super Sprints coming in on June the 4th. That will be our first test. We'll put a sprint car on this new shaped Cornwall Motor Speedway, and of course, all that extra clay means one thing: they're going to go faster. Taken over the track. We got a brand new flag stand, new sound system, brand new catch fence, fixed the front wall. What you're sitting on right now, brand new bleachers. That was last year. Of course, the finish line pump and that new bleacher system you were talking about in the pit area brings the fans up. It's also a little larger. It's a lot safer for the fans. They're a little further back behind the walls. And they mentioned that gate. Well, that's going to help our drivers. When we have our redraws and stuff at the flag stand, the drivers aren't going to have to walk down the track anymore. They're going to be able to open up that gate. The drivers will walk through that pit gate right up the front here and in front of you, the fans, when we do our redraws. So it's a lot safer. They won't have to walk down on the track when they're trying to pack the track in emissions. And you don't see a lot of drivers wearing the black fire suits. That makes it tough for our drivers in the tow trucks and the packers. Especially that big packer. When you sit up inside that thing, I tell you, there's a lot of blind area around that vehicle. And the last thing we want is, well, one, for the packing to take longer. And of course, Ron will be out there with the grader. And it's not exactly easy to see people in that thing either. So again, and really safe for the drivers. Less people on the track, the better.
Exactly. And our goal really is, like you mentioned, is to make sure that everyone is safe, the drivers, fans, and everyone. So, and also as the modifiers are coming up for their time trials,
les gestes plus fluides. Des hommes un peu.
Well, another change to the speedway, and it's way out there between turn 1 and 2. It's actually all of turn 1 and 2. You can see that, well, our grass is gone. That's always been beautiful green grass here at the Cornwall Motor Speedway, but the problem with that was it was also a very low area on the track. With all the rain we had, that's where it would pool, and it was just deep back there in turn number 2 in the fence line, so we had to fill that in so people didn't go swimming along there anymore. It's going to make it a lot safer. Once we get it leveled off, get some grass back on it, it's going to be a lot better for the drivers. There's lots of room to run off, where before we've seen drivers hit that puddle and end up in the catch fence way at the back side. And we're talking about the one eye of Chris James. Made a visit over there a couple of times. When you go off the track and hit that wet grass, you just hang on, because you're along to the right at that point.
Sur le towing, ouais. Ah ben, on va place, ils vont embarquer. La tour facilement, hier, là, ouais. Ah, ok, ah, mais ça, on peut le réajuster. Ah. On va changer, là.
C'est correct?
Voici maintenant, je t'ai rappelé une livraison. Avec des collègues.
Ah, mais là, c'est pas pareil. Moi, je trouve que des fois, il rate des fois. Tu sais, certains bars, là, moi, je trouvais qu'il allait pas, c'était plus dur.
13.74, and Bernier with 13.81 for his quick lap. So Luke Whitaker gonna get down to 38 special. The quickest lap so far with 13.23. Whitaker racing the off season. in the 23 up to the number 1 spot. We've got 13.55, quickest in the first here in the final. Time we say 358 modifieds here at Cornwall Motor Speedway, well, come talk to us. We're looking for a sponsor. That's a lot of plugging. Every time we say 358, yeah, okay. I really don't have that much money. I want a new car. That's where all my money goes now.
All my money goes to
Nah, she's too cute. She doesn't look like you. She's way too cute. We can't say she looks like you, Timmy. Sorry.
And along on the social media pages if you are following along, and or if you can't make it to the racetrack, we usually do the dates as much as we can on Twitter page. You can follow me at Timmy40. Wanted to give a shout out to our good friend Anthony Marcotte, one of the voices of our racing out there.
Congratulations, short track announcer of the year. So we get to be part of that, buddy.
Yes, it's I mentioned it at Brockville last night, and they made a special sign. I want to thank the good folks in here who took graphics for getting that sign made up, and I want to thank Milner to allow us to use the people at that logo that's on that banner, and the meeting as you mentioned about the race car used to drive 2000, I think it was. They made a special meeting of that race car, and it was Behind him in the 74, that's Terry Lannister. Jean-Louis, car number 9, and rounding out your field
VIP booth this evening. And
Nice little poutine, by the way.
oh, sorry guys, I walked by the booth and they called me over and they said, make sure you come over. And I wasn't really going to get a poutine, but you know, they stopped me, they wanted an autograph, and you know, they did the whole thing, so I had to get a poutine. But a big hello to all the gang over there, the Mike Sobey Construction VIP this evening, our race sponsors for the night. Went over and picked up all the trophy representatives throughout the day. My official duties always makes me walk by the food stands. It's not a good thing because, you know, these pants still fit kind of.
Well,
Sometimes that happens. You know, I just let the belt up. But
that's all you can do.
it's all Billy's fault in the booth. They said they all wanted autographs, and I had to stop.
Well, you know, the poutine fries are just two colored pants.
It's a good thing I didn't have to walk by the sausage dogs again tonight. I tell you, by the end of the night, we pretty much spend our pays that we make here in food. That's not good. You guys go home to the wife and the girlfriend, and they go, "Well, how much did you make before or after I ate?" That's the number one thing you always ask.
I gotta get down to Joel's side. That's not what I'm trying to work on.
Well, maybe he'll let you. Maybe he'll let you borrow his cadets. I didn't see them. Lucky, I didn't see them. I was able to walk by.
Good thing I walked by that.
Jim, I don't need your help with eating, buddy.
Oh, less money in our pockets, we're going to need more than
Well,
Can't be good. You make $50, you spend 40 at the canteen.
now.
They get you on the comeback.
Looks like some track prep going on down there. A little bit of what they used to call back in the day a minor dirt alert over there in turn number 1. So we're going to get that run in. After we get that taken care of, the 358 modifieds will turn their attention to the speedway and get going for their first of 4 qualifying heats on the night. Top 5 will qualify, 3 to the green draw. I got a little bit of a quick moment, run down some of the history of this Canadian National Series. Of course, this series was started after the Lucas Oil Canadian Dirt Series was folded in 2009. Of course, champions in that series included the late, our great friend Leon Gagnon in 2001, Brian McDonald in 2002, Steve Poirier took over in 2003 and 2004, Danny O'Brien in 2005, David Hebert in 2006, Brent Levasseur in 2007, and David Hebert was the final champion in 2008 and 2009. The series became the Canadian National Series. Brett Hearn showed up here in 2010 and swept the 2-race series back then. Stefan LaFrance picked up 2 wins in his championship in 2011. Dale Plank won 1 time. In 2012, picking up the title, Brian McDonald won in 2013. Stefan LaFrance, the only 2-time champion in 2014. Danny Johnson in 2015. And Kerry Trance, defending series champion in 2016. Interesting enough, too, our last 4 series champions won the title, did not win a feature.
quality of cars that we have here on that series. I mentioned Stefan Johnson, Terry Terrence, we have a lot of some of the top Quebec drivers that are here in David Hébert, Steve Bernard, as well as Eric Rudolph will be our contender as well this year in that series. Eric Rudolph is committed to do all the big shows here at doing all the doing the 3 Canadian Nationals as well as the big show on the 17th, August 17th, 2020 event. With 50 lap modified feature that should be pretty interesting on that Thursday night in August. We should attract a lot of the big names. We have a big name tonight here for a 4,000 win event. Especially imagine when we add up another $6,000 to your share in August. So expecting a strong fill of cars for that night, and probably have some of the top runners. We made sure that no one is running on that night at the area, and even down in upstate New York, just to make sure that we can attract all the big names here, right? That the first with 7,000 to win and over 30,000 total first winners that night.
you want your quality as well. And Cornwall, we're lucky. We're right in the middle of just about everything. You got Drummond and Granby, so you get all the top guys out of Quebec. We've got Rockville just down the road. We've got Mohawk just across. We have a lot of tracks to draw from, and we're the only ones that run on Sunday nights. That's the best part about it, is we don't really go against anybody else, and this being on a Thursday evening, I mentioned checking with all the other tracks, making sure there's no series races or anything like that, and you might even catch some of those big block guys jumping into a small block for that kind of money.
For sure. And looking at the all-time winners in this series, there's been 20 events run since 2010, and Mario Claire hasn't won a championship, but he is the all-time winner. Billy Dunn, Terry Grant, Dale Blank, Brett M2, Steve Bernard, and Shepard won the piece back in 2013. So there's Brett's down here.
Wow, that's a list of them. Yeah. Got a couple of up-and-comers in there, and got some guys that have been around for years. Guys like Hearn and Johnson. I mentioned those two names in there, and of course Mario Claire and Vince got wheels, and he's raced it down in Quebec. He's pretty much won.
Had a good run at the Dirt Car Nationals as well in Florida. He drove Dale Corvos, rider number 96. Fuel issues on the first night. Didn't put enough in the car. Not the only one. Alan Johnson also had fuel issues. Talked to Alan after that. He said, well, maybe a gallon of gas.
That's usually that thing in the car, the fuel, the gas, that usually comes in handy.
And speaking of Alan Johnson, he is signed on as a class driver for the Big Block Car Series, so he will be here in Cornwall when the Big Blocks come to town. Looking forward to seeing how A&A tackles the Speedway. Alan actually won his first 358 modified feature here back in 1900. It is.
We're not going to talk about that.
Come on. And you know, by the way, that was your good friend, the late the Oscar Live. Wow.
We're just dropping names all over the place.
Going back to your list of the there's drivers that won the Super Car Series at Idle. You have Matt Shepard, Brett Hearn, and Danny Johnson, all won that title. Looking at the Dirt Car 58 Series, you've got Mario Claire won it, Frank won it, and Steve Bernard. So those are the three names that won that title as well. I'm pretty sure Brett Hearn won it in the past as well. So those are the drivers that came here for that type of race and that type of money as well. So you might see all of them maybe on that night. I'd be surprised to see Matt Shepard in a small box on that. Obviously, that would be nice to see.
Yeah, if he gets the right opportunity to come here, he will definitely be here. Matt Shepard had a great weekend so far. 2 for 2. He picked up one at the Outlaw Speedway on Friday night in the Big Coffee Honda number 92, and then he jumped in his own Big Block in Canada on there. That was a Unicron tried to make it trifecta, but Larry White's tried to do the same thing. He won and had Colton Friday and Saturday night. Star-studded field at the Unicron as well. Let's say that, yes. The weekend.
This week. I would have thought that it would have been here, but it's 1 p.m. tonight. But he's in the pits. I talked to him earlier. The car right back inside. But nice to see. That's what I'm trying to do. Like you say, the trifecta of the night and trying to win against this star.
Talk about a great location for a racer to be from, Sorel, right between
Tout le soleil. C'est le soleil. Ça éclaire. Ah, moi, c'est le soleil. Oui, là, c'est le début, pas il pleut. Les gars qui arrêtent de plaisir, c'est pas le soleil. Ils ont tous des lunettes.
Especially for me. I'll tell you, you guys are ahead of the curve on me though, because Timmy's already been to Mohawk a couple of times. Rockville, you've been down to Granby and Drummond and following it along. And well, me, I even missed the banquet because I had to work. Jeez.
You left the sign where I think
That's what happens when you get a real job and you have to adult.
real job.
Yeah, but I just started at mine, so I can't exactly say, hey, I'm not going to. They kind of frown upon that.
Yeah, you're right.
When you're trying to make a really good impression. And I need all the help I can get.
The other things that's going on this year, there's a couple of things started by the Rockville Speedway culture. I'm getting this together at the Tri-Track Challenge.
Say that 3 times fast.
And if you hear Mohawk in Rockville, any 358 modified driver who wins a feature in 2017 will be eligible for this event. The purse and the format is yet to be announced, but it is going to be kind of a neat deal. Trying to kind of gather all three tracks together and for a little bit of a quote unquote fun race.
Yeah,
So-
anytime you put someone in a car next to another car,
And you put a little money on the line.
yeah, it's no longer a fun race.
Yeah.
And we saw that here in the past with the Dash for Dash in the last 2 years. That these guys, it was a fun race, but they tried to win, even if it was a 10,000 to win the race. But it wasn't. It was $100. These are competitive.
And I don't think the $100 is really, it's the bragging rights. That's what they want.
You know, that's they can put money on the line. Race car drivers, it doesn't matter how much it is, could throw $5 out there and they'll drive over a front end. But Will Cagle put it the best way because he raced down in Florida and he said he used to run over top of each other for $300. And he says up in central New York at the time it was about 500 of them. So you imagine what we did for $500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's actually towing money there and back.
For sure. Well, looks like the modifieds are ready to get things going as heat number 1 is lined up and ready to go. Just a moment.
Continue, la caméra va geler.
C'est l'ancien house dans le
C'est moi, je vais geler. Le caméraman.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned it earlier, and we're going to keep pushing it because we're still looking for a sponsor for this class. The 358 Modified Division doesn't have a sponsor.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, win the 50-50 draw tonight and you could probably sponsor the class.
Yeah, for a week.
You know, well,
Yeah.
we're doing on the class for a week anyway. That was my other thing.
I don't think the
50-50
fans would
tickets
like
are
me
on
winning.
sale. There's Ralphie.
Ralphie!
He's
Ralphie's
there.
back selling our 50-50. Of course, the rest of our 50-50 sellers wandering around and making sure that we get our 50-50 tickets sold.
Je vais faire le chimio. Mon cycliste de semaine, moi, il y a son home avec une bande.
Ralph is always entertaining as soon as we put some music on, he starts to dance. So not only
Loves Lady Gaga, but he'll dance to just about anything.
selling tickets, but he likes to take the crowd. So he number 1 in the modified. Whitaker, E46 of Kale Rebidou, E47S of Corey Wheeler, E1 of Steve Bernier, 66X of Gary Terrence, 18 and JR making the move up to the modified Louis Jackson Jr. And then starting last, Michael Barista. He had a better time
And Marte, just like last year, they're going to fire in the wired audio zone.
Exactly. Qualified a top 5, a top 3. The redrive one will be different.
Completes the rest of your field. 7 cars ready to go. 10 laps is the distance. Second of 4. 358 modified DMS on the Speedway. Preparation to qualify for tonight's 125-lap Canadian National Series opener. 5 to the big show. 3 to the draw. Everybody wants to be in the draw because start farther forward. I, for one, would just like to be in the show regardless. And that's what Lance Willicks and Brian McDonald are going to try to do. They're going to get ready to go. So far into the redraw, we have Luke Whitaker, Lance Willix, Gabriel, Mikhail Belvedere, Chris Travis, Steve
Well, heat number 3 rolls out onto the field. The 66 of Kyle Dingwall way off the pole. It'll be the 22C of Mario Claire on that outside pole. 25 of Bobby Harrington on the inside of that second row. The 22D of the Doctor, Danny Johnson. And we've got the 25X of Eric Rudolph. 16 of Gage Moray outside of row number 3, and rounding out the field of 37 of Paul Saint-Sauveur. 10 laps will be the distance. Top 5 go to the big dance. Top 3 go to the redraw. White comes out onto the field. We're going to set him around one more time. We're looking for a nice clean start coming out of turn number 4 between the signs in the wired audio firing zone. Well, we've seen the guys that get out in front first in the last 2 heats run away with it. So we're going to be looking for a nice start from Mario Claire and Kyle Dingwall. And we'll see if that continues, that pattern that we've seen so far. Whoever gets out in front first runs away from the rest of the field. We've had good battles for the transport. Gage Moray in the 16, slipping just outside the top 5. And again, it'll be Kyle Dingwall, Danny Johnson, Mario Claire to the redraw, Rudolph and Harrington will go to the dance. We'll start a little further back, but here we go, 4th heat.
contre